Hi, and welcome to the Health Begins with Mom show. I am Dorit Palvanov, your host. On this podcast, I will share insights and interviews on health, parenting, and explore the question of what does it take to thrive as women, wives, and mothers. Now, let's get going with today's episode. Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of the Health Begins with Mom podcast. This is Dorit Palvanov, your host. And you probably can hear the chirping of the birds and some cars because I'm recording this outside on my morning walk. Woke up this morning, I don't know, a little bit, felt a little bit tired or maybe didn't sleep very well. I'm starting to think that my pillow is really not comfortable for me. So I'm researching about pillows. So if anybody knows of really good pillows or maybe even mattresses, please let me know. I am researching. I am shopping around for that right now. Anyways, so I wanted to talk to you about some takeaways that I have after an event I hosted yesterday. This event is called How to Lose Weight Without Starving Yourself. And first of all, the reason I started doing these events is because part of my mission is to help women thrive as women, wives, and mothers. And one of the things that I notice is this chronic stress that we are constantly experiencing as women. And it's basically the state of being always turned on, never really relaxing, never really pausing, never really taking a break. And so from the event yesterday, I've noticed, first of all, the interesting thing was I noticed two age groups. So one age group was really young moms, who just joined the world of motherhood. So their babies were around 7 to 9 months. And then the other group of women was women in the 40 plus. And that's really interesting. First of all, for me as a coach, it's sort of like an indication of how prevalent this problem of, this obsession about our weight or the way we look or the way we see ourselves, or that ideal that we are striving to get to. It's really across the board, and it's very interesting to see that even though my oldest daughter is 8 years old, I already am noticing how she is just self-conscious about her weight. I am very careful about those things, but I know that she is, she goes to school, she has other family members who spend time with her, and we don't have TV at home, so we don't expose her to commercials. I don't ever subscribe to any of the health magazines because I really believe that because all of that, this diet culture, they profit off of us just really not loving ourselves the way we are. And I just don't want to participate in that. So I know that, because she's seeing it and maybe sensing it from the outside world, already at this young age, she is self-aware and self-conscious about that. So this is my number one takeaway. Number two, my approach to weight loss is really very holistic. And when I started the event by just asking them and inviting the women to just close their eyes and to just pause. And all we did was to just breathe for just 10, maybe 12 really deep breaths. And immediately when I invited them to close their eyes, and we did this really sweet and adorable exercise about connecting to your inner child and remembering yourself. I asked them to bring pictures of themselves as a young child and connecting to that, and just remembering yourself as a young child. How fun, and how, remember those laughters and how everything was easy and amazing and exciting. And then all of a sudden right now you look at yourself and everything is so, I don't know, it just seems so hard and difficult and challenging and not fun anymore. So I immediately on their faces I saw this just calmness and just a sense of just peace, and so that's the second takeaway for me. And also for you, I think one of the really beneficial things we can do to ourselves is just to pause and just to slow down. And believe me, this is one of the hardest things for me to do because I'm a very type A kind of person. And this is just my nature. I'm super fast. I love when things are moving fast. So just to give you an example, like I can ask my husband to take the trash out, and in my head, that should be done like in the next maybe second or two. But he is like, he takes the time. And then like I see myself eventually doing it, taking the trash out myself, finishing all the dishes, and, also taking the baby upstairs, changing her diaper and coming down. And he would come and like, wait, where's the trash? And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me, right? I just did it myself. So this is like how fast I am. I love to move fast. But that moving fast really, it affects me. It affects me, and it adds to the stress, to my daily stress that is just inevitable. Raising young kids and also, doing work and all that stuff. So I think it's really important. And I think it's a really good advice for you also to just pause. And when I mean by pausing, like let's talk a little bit about practicality, like actually how it's done. I think in the morning, do not start your day with checking your email. When you're waking up in the morning, first thing you should do is just, still with your eyes closed. You can still be maybe even lying in bed. And just put your hand on your heart and the other hand on your belly and just breathe. And then when you're breathing, make sure your breath is filling up your belly. Not only your chest, but also your belly. That's the really deep breath. In the world of yoga, this is called Ujjayi breath. And this breath sounds very much like a wave. And that breath, it's very recentering to the body and actually sends healing and calming and soothing pulses to the brain. So you can do that in the morning, and then after that you can start your day. Another idea is to do a little short prayer in the morning. If you have a connection or a relationship with a higher power, it can be God, universe, whatever it is, just connect to that and maybe even say thank you. Say thank you for waking up this morning. Thank you for being healthy. Thank you for being able to raise children. Thank you for your marriage, for your relationship, for your partnership. Whatever it is, just start your day with gratitude. And then as you go throughout your day and you feel this anxiety coming up, I think it's very helpful to sometimes just close your eyes. Just close your eyes and And imagine yourself just being surrounded by this safe bubble. You're totally safe. There's no one who is going to harm you, and it's all going to be okay. And I love that because for those of you who are familiar with the work of Dr. Shefali Tsabary, the author of The Conscious Parent, she talks about meditation, and she calls it in the moment, meditation that is in the moment. And this is super practical for parents because our lives are so busy, and it's really hard to just find, even 10 to 20 minutes to just sit down and meditate, right? So what she talks about is to cultivate a practice of meditating in the moment while you're doing the dishes, while you're folding the laundry, while you're tucking your kids in bed. And what she means by that is just to breathe from your diaphragm. So when your belly is rising up, and sort of recentering yourself. And this is really a practice. And this is something that eventually, as you do more and more of it, will become a practice. All right, so that's the second takeaway. The third takeaway is seeing these women, because when I started my talk, I did these exercises, the recentering, and seeing how surprised they were when I started talking about number one thing that stands in their way and making their body to holding on to weight, which is basically not really food, because all of them were really, some of them also already went through Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig and different other diet programs. And all of them were really unsatisfied. Some of them even complained that while they are on these diet programs, they feel successful, they feel really good about themselves, and they're actually able to lose the weight. And the moment they're done with the program, then they're gaining all the weight back. And I think the reason for that is these diets, they don't really help you to heal from the core. And my intention with this event was to really show them how, our past, I call it love cracks. So things that maybe someone said or someone shamed us or someone criticized us about maybe our body or the way we look or the way we were showing up. And that love crack that could happen in second grade when you were 7 years old, it doesn't really matter. It's still in the back of your mind. It is still operating your subconscious. And this is what is fueling that sense of I'm not good enough, I'm not thin enough, I need to lose this weight, I'm just not accepting myself the way I am. And the interesting thing that happens is when we did those exercises, they were like, oh, very interesting. It's sort of like a new world was open to them. And the really fascinating thing, guys, is the weight is actually starting to melt away when you are tackling these love cracks, when you're healing them, when you're tending to those wounds that are emotional for the most part, right? So a lot of them complained that, so there was someone who, she said that she's addicted, she cannot live without butter and bread. Like that's her comfort food. That's where she goes to when she is, depressed, sad, and like she has to have it. And she, in her head, had convinced herself that is the reason why she can't lose weight. And she convinced herself that this is unhealthy. And so I asked her this question. I said, why do you think this is unhealthy? She's like, what do you mean? Butter is not good for you. I'm like, who told you that? He's like, well, that's what they say, that, the fat is not good for you. I'm like, okay. So here's the thing. Butter is actually one of the healthiest foods that there are on the planet. It is a very good source of fat. Of course, it's important to source it from a grass-fed cow. Otherwise, it's a really healthy and nourishing food. Now, the problems become when you eat too much of it, which she admitted that she does. And then when I asked her, how often do you eat it? And she told me, I don't know, maybe twice a week. And I'm like, because I was expecting she would say every day, maybe 2-3 times a day. And I'm like, well, here's the thing, twice a week, that's not so bad. So what I'm trying to say, I guess, is how we are living in our heads and convincing ourselves that whatever we're doing or the way we are handling ourselves, it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. And I just want to say, guys, this is wrong. This is really wrong. And believe me, even if you go on a really strict diet, this place is never going to heal. And so we spoke about how she reaches to that food. And, oh, by the way, she another thing that she mentioned is that she is, that's her comfort food because when she was little, that's what her mom used to give her. So totally she understands that, a connection has been made there when she was a child. And so now what happens is she reaches to that food every time she feels like she needs soothing. So that's her way of soothing herself. Now, in the event, I asked her, what if what you really are craving is not really the food, but that emotion that you have experienced when you were a child, when your mom had, given you these toasts with butter and bread? She's like, yeah, I know, probably. And then I'm like, okay, so what if now that you have awareness and consciousness about this, every time you reach for the butter and bread, first of all, do not tell yourself that this is unhealthy, because every time that thought crosses your mind and then you take a bite, this will actually make it bad for you. So first of all, really honor it, love it, and enjoy it and savor it. So this is number one. Number two, see in the moment when you're feeling that, that emotion that is going through your body of, I'm feeling icky, like I feel like I need soothing. See if you can maybe get it from a different place instead of food. And I know, guys, this is work. This is not easy to do, especially when you're really rushing and everything is go, go, go. That's why I said that the number one thing we need to cultivate is to pause. Is the slowing down and those daily meditations. And so she really liked that, and I hope that she will actually use it. And maybe, so some of the things that we've spoken about is maybe she could get up and do 5 jumping jacks, or maybe she could call a friend that she really loves and wants to spend time with, or maybe she could just quickly go upstairs and take a shower. Anything, whatever makes her feel good, maybe she could do that instead of reaching to this food. And of course, if you already are choosing to eat that toast with butter, doing this from a place of love, self-acceptance, and actually savor it and enjoy it. And that's it. These were my 3 takeaways. Other than that, I really hope that women got a lot of value out of it. It was definitely a lot of fun for me. We spoke about chronic stress and how our adrenals and the thyroid gland are super important hormonal glands that we, as women, we have to nurture and take care of. And we could definitely do that with food. But the number one step of this process is to really tend to these emotional wounds. These, I also call them the mother wounds, things that, maybe those things or the words or some comments that were made to you by your mother or even other significant women in your life. And how are they affecting you still till this day? And also looking at how your mom's relationship with food was. How all of that is still on a very subconscious level controlling you. How is this still operating in the back of your mind? And from that place, you are still operating and responding. So it really starts with consciousness. It starts with awareness and really paying attention. And only from that place can you take back control and act, and also, of course, change things for yourself. All right, guys. So this is what I have for you today. Hope this was helpful. I would love to hear what are your struggles with food or maybe weight loss. I'd love to hear that. So feel free to hit me up on Facebook. You can find me, I go under Dorit Palvanov on Facebook. You can also, if it's easier for you to use email, you can email me at dorit@healthbeginswithmom.com. And I'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Health Begins with Mom show. I love hearing from you, so please post your comments and questions over at healthbeginswithmom.com/podcast. If you love the show, please share it on social media and in your real life with other moms who might enjoy this content. And if you have a burning question or topic you'd like me to hit on the show, just drop me a line at dorit@healthbeginswithmom.com. And if you love this show and really want to support it, please go to iTunes, write a review, and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Much love and many blessings.